Hi everyone, so today I'll be filming my empties for the month of July. So I'll have these separated into categories in case you're only interested in certain items. Like always, I'm going to start off with the face mask that I used this month and skincare specifically. So for this month, I don't know, I felt like I was trying to use more of my skincare, but apparently not. I think this is the last I'm From Mugwort sheet mask. This one I got it on Wish Trend, unfortunately, because of the whole trade situation. I don't think I'll be able to find it for a reasonable price here, but I do like it and I would purchase it later down the road or down the line, whatever the expression goes. And then I finished up 4 of these glutathione niacinamide sheet masks. This one has a lot of essence or liquid. So I like using this with a toner cotton pad. This one was a really good deal. It was in a 10 pack at TJ Maxx or Marshall's and it was on sale for $7.99. But honestly, I think it was mismarked. I would repurchase that, but I haven't seen that since. And then, of course, I used 2 of my Tony Moly sheet masks. I bought a lot of these. I don't think I've hauled them yet, but this one's just okay. I don't know if I would specifically purchase this one. I'm Makgoli. And then the one that I don't really care for, but I also got it because it was on sale, is from the brand Innisfree. This is the, I think it's like rose essence extract. I think I have 2 more of these. That's like aloe and tea tree that I haven't tried. But the reason why I don't really care for this one is because it feels a little bit thick, the sheet mask. Like it's not itchy, but it's not smooth like the other ones. So yeah, I guess it was the month for sheet masks. And then one product that my sister and I finished up is we were trying a new brand of cleansing oil. That's our preferred method to take off our sunblock. We both don't use makeup, so we don't need anything too heavy duty. Anyways, we were testing out the Pose Soft Emo. So that's a Japanese brand. I believe we got this either online through Jolse or Salvana, but again, trade issues. So I don't necessarily think that we'll be able to purchase this one unless it hits TJX stores or Costco. But I think between this one and the Harolabo Kokuchin one, that one I believe it's in the yellow container. I much prefer the Harolabo one because this one just was a little bit thicker and I felt like I had to use more water in order to emulsify it and then use a stronger foaming cleanser, which that's what I use for my second cleanse, or maybe like a gel. Anyways, this one was just a little bit harder to take off and I felt like it still lingered on my face, so I needed to use a toner or an essence afterwards. Okay, next is a product. I think it's a trial size one that I got from Sephora for my birth month. I picked out the Laneige gift set and this is the water bank. So I have used Laneige products in the past. I really like their, what is it? Skin refiner one, but I haven't tested that out recently, but I really enjoyed it in the past. This one, it was just okay. I felt like it really went into my skin without being too light or too greasy or too heavy. So it's good for right now in the summer, but I don't think I would repurchase it just because of the price. And I feel like it pretty much does what my cheaper, is it creamer? No. What my cheaper cream facial lotion does. And then last product that my sister and I finished up, we were both testing out this Centella Calming Daily Sunscreen by the brand iUnique. Again, this has new age filters, so we purchased it on either Salvana or Jolse back when you were able to purchase Asian sunscreens, because now I think with the whole, again, trade issues, I think the FDA is cracking down more on people importing sunscreens with filters that are not regulated by the FDA. So I can't buy this here. So I'm not exactly sure because I can buy the other Asian skincare products and maybe just pay a little bit more, but I don't think I'm able to import sunblock. So TBD on that, or if not, I'm on the lookout for a good US sunscreen filter sunblock, but I don't know, no hopes on that. Okay, next category, we have body care, which I think is technically still skincare, but I guess not facial skincare. Anyways, going on to an item that my sister finished up. She really loves Tree Hut scrubs, so I believe she finished this in June, but it fell outside of my empties bag, so I'll include it in this one. So yeah, my sister finished up this iced coffee. She loves this one along with the watermelon Tree Hut scrub. This was one that I purchased. I don't know if it was a Target exclusive, but I bought one and she bought one. She finished up hers and then she really loved the scent and couldn't find it anymore. We tried checking like TJ Maxx, Marshalls, but they haven't brought it back. So I want to say that that one's pretty old. Yeah, and it's from 2023, I believe, and it hasn't returned. But this is a really nice, good coffee scent without a lot of like creamer or anything. It's just plain black coffee with a little bit of sweetness. So she would love for this one to come back, but unfortunately it has not. I did use it one time, but I figured since she loved it so much, I might as well give it to her. Would repurchase it. She really likes it. Oh, I don't think I mentioned, but this sunscreen was just okay, but I can't really repurchase it anymore. Okay, going on to another body scrub that my sister finished up. We have one that I got on sale for $2 at Walmart. I think it went on their Walmart clearance, but you can't really see, well, maybe you can kind of see the price. It was $2. And that's awesome because these normally go for like anywhere from $6 to $10 or maybe even more depending on the sale and where you purchase it. I could have sworn that my sister didn't like the scent cotton candy. I have one because coincidentally in Walmart in the clearance aisle there were two, so she got one and I got one. I personally really like cotton candy and I feel like it lingers on my skin, but there is a bit of artificial ness to it and it reminds me a little bit of like candied strawberries. So I don't know if she would purchase this because she likes trying out the new Treat Hut scents or new scents to her. Next, I finished up a body butter from Trader Joe's. This is their Brazil nut body butter with, what is that, acai and guarana extract. So this one, unfortunately, I think it went, or it didn't turn bad, but I feel like it was starting to lose its fragrance because it was about 2.5 years old. So that's one thing that I'm now learning is because the rate that I use up my products is so slow that I really need to buy only like a few. And by a few, I mean like less than five. So anyways, this one, I finished it up. I noticed with their body butter, I think I have a full review somewhere in my channel if you're interested, but I feel like with the body butter specifically, this scent, I felt like I needed to mix it with an oil because it wasn't really hydrating. It just felt a little bit occlusive on my skin. It didn't feel like, you know how some Vaselines, they feel a little bit oily. This one just feels like it was on my skin, but it wasn't totally sinking in. And for some reason, if I used an oil, I felt like the texture was a lot better. And also the scent was dissipating a little bit. And I think that if you really want your scent to linger, I would go for the body oil, but I know that varies slightly from the body cleanser, the mist, the mist, the body butter, and the scrub. I love the scrub though. I would repurchase that one. So this one, I think I'll just finish this one and I won't purchase the scent anymore, except for the body scrub, because as I mentioned, that's my favorite out of the line. Next, going on to a Lush product, I feel like I'm actually starting to fall out of love with Lush because I think they're just pumping out way too many collaborations, which I think is true for a lot of other companies or skincare brands. And that's not really my thing. I felt like I liked Lush when they were more like trying to be sustainable and they were doing more campaigns versus collaborations, which I feel like just focus on, you know, profits. But I'm going off topic. I finished up this Lush Snow Fairy body scrub. Surprisingly, I really liked the texture of this body scrub. There are some that I just do not like the texture. For example, the orange body scrub is a little bit too greasy and oily, but it's not gritty like the Tree Hut scrub. And then they had one that I think was the intergalactic scrub. Hated that one. It was like a paste. But this one, I think it might be because, is this a foaming body scrub? I don't know, but I really liked this consistency. For 50% off, I would repurchase it just because I can use the pot to get some money off of my next purchase if I collect 5 or more. So there's that. I need to give that to my sister because she's in charge of holding onto our unused pots. Next, going on to another Lush item, we have a shower gel in the scent Rose Jam. So I really enjoy Rose Jam. I believe it's called Rose Argan in the body conditioner because I feel like it's a bit softer. But this one in the shower gel, it's slightly like a jammy rose, but that quickly kind of turns into more of a mature leaning scent, especially in the body spray. But this one, I feel like it didn't linger on my skin or anything. And now the Lush shower gels, except for maybe the shower creams or other similar products, they're a bit stripping in my opinion. And I feel like they're really, really runny versus before you used to be able to, use that for a longer period of time without having to repurchase because they were thicker, so you needed to use a little bit less. So unfortunately, I think even if I would repurchase Lush shower gel, which I wouldn't because I feel like then I would have to use a shower oil or a body conditioner, I feel like I would have to purchase more than one in order to get that, in order for it to last as long as it did in the past. So I would not repurchase this one. The scent's okay, but I like it more in the body conditioner. Okay, I think that is it for body care. Let me go on to home fragrance. Let's stick to specifically wax melts. So like always, I have some tea lights. So we have some 6, 8-hour, and 4-hour tea lights. Again, I buy these at, or at I buy these at Target and Amazon. So whichever brand is okay. I again use the 4-hour ones most of the time, and then the 4 to 6-hour ones, and then very seldom I use the 8 hours because technically I don't believe you're supposed to use 8-hour tea lights with your tea light warmers. So there's that. Okay, for the first wax melt, it's from Country Candle. So Country Candle is being discontinued. If you don't know, Country Candle is kind of like a sister company or like a subcategory of Kringle Candle. I got this when I ordered some reserve candles or a sale order. So the problem with this is I think they were selling an old their old inventory. So if you can see right there, because of the vanilla, it made this very goopy and it stained the actual container. As far as the scent goes, it does smell nice, but I feel like it was fake. It was either at one point a bit stronger, or maybe this wax melt was always light. Because when I really smell the empty container, I get this like sugary sweetness, like pink spun cotton candy. But when I had this in my warmer, that didn't translate at all. I had it in my Julienne hot plate warmer, which that one I believe is 25 watts, and I had it on high, so it was pretty hot. And I think I also used it in my tea light warmer. And at this point, if it's not working in a tea light warmer, I think it's just not going to perform. So unfortunately, I don't like this. I wouldn't recommend it. And since Country Candle is being discontinued, I don't think that you could purchase it unless it's still on the website. Okay, for my next wax melt, we have that Smell Good shop in Beach Nights, Boardwalk, Marshmallow Clouds, Strawberry Pound Cake. This is a customer blends. You know what's funny is I have this massive That Smell Good shop video like haul that I'm still trying to edit, but it's just so massive that I don't even know if I'll post it. But this is a customer blend, so I think this scent was pretty good. I wanted the strawberry pound cake note to be a little bit stronger. So long story short, I feel like the Boardwalk Marshmallow Clouds note, the dupe of the Bath & Body Works original scent, is a little bit too heavy on the magnolia. I feel like I haven't found a scent that's a complete 100% dupe. So if you know one, let me know. Even for body care, I'd be so down. I've tried maybe like 5 so far, and it's just, it doesn't hit the nail on the head. Okay, but besides the Boardwalk Marshmallow Clouds, I feel like the Beach Nights came out a bit more, and I feel like her Beach Nights, I believe the owner's Wendy, her Beach Nights leans a little bit less creamy sweet and a little bit more like salty air leaning. So I think if this was my customer blend, I would amp up the strawberry pound cake note just because I really like that scent. Okay, next, going on to a wax piece that I won in a wax giveaway. Again, a video that I need to edit, but I'm behind. So that is from, the giveaway, I won it from Jeannie Melt Scents on YouTube, and I believe it was some leftover scents from the Spring Summer Round Robin, which if you don't know, it's a fun video that, it's like Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, but wax version. Anyways, so she included this L3 Waxy Wonder sample in the scent Butter Brickle, Vanilla Bean, Noel, and Pretzel. So this one I wrote down my notes because I warmed it earlier on in the month. Heavy pretzel note. The Vanilla Bean Noel was not overwhelming, which for some reason I felt like it was going to be. So it only added a little bit of a subtle sweetness. And I really enjoyed the doughy notes because I heard that L3 pretzel scents are really good, which makes sense because I feel like the new owner has done some pretzel palooza. I think that's a thing. Don't quote me if I'm like making a mistake. Okay, and then another scent that I won from Jeannie, we have Amityville from L3 Waxy Wonders. Again, I wrote notes. So the fragrance notes, since I looked them up, are Cashmere, Twilight Woods, which is a Bath & Body Works dupe, and Warm Vanilla Sugar type, again from Bath & Body Works. And for some reason, when I smelled this, I got pink sugar. and I got very light strength and light projection. So this one, I had it warming in my Scentsy warmer, so potentially it could have benefited from my hot plate instead. Even when I smell it now, it still reminds me of pink sugar, which maybe it's just the perfuminess of Twilight Woods. I remember that scent was really popular, but honestly, I haven't smelled Twilight Woods in quite some time. But I feel like it's pretty different from pink sugar, so maybe I was just confused when I smelled this. All right, next, another one that I won from Jeannie. This one is from Swanky, and it is white tea and pear. And wow, this one did amazing in my Scentsy warmer. It's funny because I thought it wasn't going to perform well because it was a little bit melted and squishy, kind of like how some lollipops melt in your pockets, and it's a little bit goopy. So I thought, oh, it's probably not going to perform well. Let me just put it on my Scentsy warmer and see what happens. But this one went on for like 2+ days, and I thought, wow, because the previous Swanky piece of wax that I tried, I got it from Emily, the candle nurse, and I think it was in like lemon pound cake or a lemon gourmand, and it was a bit weak. But this one's really nice. It reminds me a lot of that Calgon Take Me Away. I believe there was one that was in like white tea and ginger. I might be misremembering that. But also the pear, I really like the crispness of the pear. This is not sweet at all. It reminds me of like a scent that you would find kind of in a spa, but a spa that doesn't do very stereotypical like eucalyptus, lavender, and whatnot. So I would repurchase this again, or I don't know, maybe I should try Swanky again because performance of this was out of this world, and I don't know though how old the wax was, if it needs to be older, like it needs cure time, or maybe you need to warm it right away. But okay, going on to small, oh yeah, these are all from the same small business. So Athame and Alchemy, I had some, they're not really samples, but they're kind of like discounted wax melts where she either makes sense or it's kind of one of those things where she's testing out wax formulas and you can buy her like prototypes, I guess. So I got one in raspberry jam, which I believe was just a single scent oil blend that she mixed up. But for some reason, it really reminded me of Pony Party, which is, I think, her house blend that includes rose and stuff, because this, for some reason, did not smell like raspberry jam. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of like this soft pink, rosy, feminine fragrance. Like you just walked out of the shower, but there's a light scent of like a rose bath oil. I really like this one, and this one performed well. I used pretty much all of Athame and Alchemy wax pieces in my tea light warmer because I get the best performance. Okay, another one from Athame and Alchemy. I got this from Jeannie. Bonfire of the Vanities. I believe this is from her fall collection. Her shop is currently closed because I believe she's settling down in a new state. Oh, fragrance notes. That's a lot. Roaring Beach Bonfire, clove cigarettes, gin and ginger cocktails, anise, cinnamon, mandarin leaf, fig, night blooming jasmine, geranium, rose, and sandalwood. And of course, I left a little note to myself because those are a lot of scent notes. Was that, of course, it was very complex. And the main notes that I picked up was a medley of the clove, the anise, and the cinnamon. But then again, I feel like I'm a little bit sensitive to spice scents like clove, cinnamon, and anise. So that would kind of make sense. But I feel like the next note that I picked up was the bonfire, which I feel like it wasn't super like, ooh, is something burning? This was more of like roasty and toasty type of a scent. And I believe that this one was medium strong in my tea light warmer. And this scent leaned a little bit unisex, slightly masculine. So I don't know if I would repurchase this one, but it was really nice when it was like an overcast day, but definitely not during the summer because it just kind of didn't really fit the vibe. You know, I feel like I want watermelon or lemon during the summer, even though lemon's fruit during the winter time, but that's a side note. Okay, the next one that I picked up again is from Athame and Alchemy, and again from Jeannie. We have Summertime Woods. Let's see, Sunlit Dappled Spruce Trees. I don't know if I said that correctly. Eucalyptus, Vanilla Lavender Mist, Dewy moss, cedar, and super light musk. So if you notice, she doesn't use plastic, she uses wax paper. The only thing about that is it's really hard to get a read, or at least it's really hard for it's really hard for me to get a read on the scent because I feel like I pick up on the scent of the wax paper. So again, I wrote notes on this one. So the cedar and the tree are the main notes that I can pick up on. It has a masculine cologne feel, and I don't know how this means summer. I wrote that. It says a false scent question mark. So maybe this is a false scent because I feel like this was more of a like men's cologne fragrance. But again, this one performed really well, and I don't know if it's because of that. Because so far the scents that have performed the lightest from At Damon Alchemy are ones that have a lot of like baked bread or like creamy notes or like butter and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't think I would repurchase any of those except for raspberry jam. That was really nice. And I'm curious if it was the single scent oil that I liked or if just because it reminded me of Pink Pony Party. Okay, going on to, let's see, reed diffusers. I don't know why I said reed diffusers when I just finished one singular reed diffuser. So anyways, I had this one going in my sister's room. I think this is a made in England one. Yeah, it is. Peck & Smith, England. So this one didn't really perform that well. I remembered after a while, maybe like around right here, I stopped turning it, which if you don't know about reed diffusers, the more you turn it, the quicker you use up the fragrance oil, but the more scent that it gives off. Again, this was more or best suited for a little like end table, a very, very tiny room or like a little corner of your living space. It's not going to fill up an entire room. And maybe if you have like a tiny bathroom with the door closed, you might sometimes occasionally smell it when you're walking by every so often, like when the wind hits you a certain way. So I wouldn't reuse that one, but I really like the vase of it. So I think I might use it when I want to propagate some leaf cuttings perhaps, or some flowers or whatnot. Okay, going on to, well, this is kind of home fragrance, right? Adjacent. So we have some Poopery. This is Before You Go in the Heaven scent. So this one's white jasmine, violet, and citrus. So far, this is my favorite scent, and I believe that my sister and I purchased this at TJ Maxx for about normally it's like $5.99, but I think it was on sale for $4.50. But my mom doesn't like seeing the red tag, so she took that off. So that's kind of a hassle when I do my empties because I have some soaps that she takes off the price tag, and I like saying how much I paid for it. We use about 3 to 5 sprays before you go. The only thing is that my parents sometimes forget and they use this as a room spray, specifically my dad. But I think that this just kind of cancels whatever odor comes from the toilet. Like, you catch my drift? So I would repurchase this one. And I noticed that the other one that I purchased, because I thought it was a citrus note that I really like. The other one is in the scent Sugared Lemon Zest, and it does smell like the Bath & Body Works fragrance Sugared Lemon Zest. But I feel like because this one had more florals, that it was stronger. So versus Sugared Lemon Zest that we have, it kind of just neutralizes the odor, versus this one, I feel like it leaves a very subtle lingering scent that is really pleasant. So I think I'm going to keep this bottle, give it to my sister so we can refill the bigger bottle that we currently have. All right, next, going on to candles specifically, we have one that my mom finished up. She lights this on the first day of every month, so it takes her a while. And this is Mrs. Myers orange clove scent. So I think I realized that there's certain fragrance combinations that I don't care for. One of them are pomander scents, like a citrus note with like spruce I don't really care for, or like citrus with eucalyptus. And this one is orange and clove. I don't really like that scent combination. It just smells a little bit weird because you have kind of like a bakery scent, or what I associate as a bakery scent, mixed in with like a refreshing orange. And that just for some reason doesn't go together to me. Anyways, so she had this burning for quite a few hours. And if you can see right there, no residual real soot at all. This didn't tunnel at all. She didn't use a hurricane. And I feel like even now when I open up the lid, it smells really fragrant. So she had this burning kind of in the corner of the kitchen, which is relatively small. So I think this would work well in a small bathroom, small bedroom, but it wouldn't fill up my, like for example, I had this burning in my medium-sized bedroom, and it was more of like, if I remember correctly, maybe like a 3 or 4. So I think I had to use a hurricane. But for what she used this for, it worked well. Unfortunately, I got this at Big Lots, and the Big Lots near me shut down. There was a little kind of news in the community that it was going to be brought back, or there was an investor. I guess they pulled out and it hasn't reopened. I should probably stop by like do a drive-by and check because I really love Big Lots. That's all to say I wouldn't purchase the Mrs. Meyer's candle. Wouldn't purchase the rediffuser, but I would get the poopery again. I feel like I'm forgetting to mention that. Okay, next candle that my sister would repurchase, but not in this specific scent. We have a CBD candle by the brand Candle Bliss in the scent Eucalyptus and Rain. So this was, I think, on sale for $4, so it was a really good deal. She has to use this in a hurricane. She now has one that, again, I have not filmed the haul, but it's really nice. One thing also about this is that the wick tends to curl over. If you do see any soot, that's mainly because my sister's one of those people that, like, it's your birthday and you're blowing out the candles, so it really hits one side of the glass. I don't know why it's not more sooty, but overall, I don't notice any visible signs of soot when I'm in her room or in her office. That's where she has this burning. Is it really effective? I'm not sure. I mean, I mainly pick up the dewiness from the rain, and she doesn't really care for it, and I don't really care for it. So if she were to find this again for $4, I think she would pick up another one, but she's not going out of her way to get this specific scent. Okay, moving on to a small candle business. This is one that I picked up on Etsy. So I finished up this glowstone candle in the scent Pixie Dust. I wrote the fragrance notes because it's not listed. Top notes are strawberry, blackcurrant, raspberry. Mid notes are sugar, freesia. Base notes are vanilla and tonka bean. So I didn't pick up too much on the base notes of vanilla and tonka bean, so it wasn't too creamy. The notes that I got a lot of was definitely the black currant, and I think it's because I realized that I don't really care for black currant, so that sometimes comes across to my nose as sour, and I did pick up on the freesia note. I wish there's more of the strawberry and the raspberry, but I think that those notes just kind of toned down the black currant. All right, so this is going to look a little bit bad, but we have some what I believe to be wick residue because on the sides it's pretty clear. I mean, obviously there's some wax cling on, but I noticed for this specific candle, it started to give me issues around this point when the wicks got a little bit puny. And the price of this is kind of expensive. It's around $20, maybe $27. So for a, how many ounces is this? 11-ounce candle, that's pretty pricey, but this uses 100% natural wax, so a coconut soy blend with no paraffin. And it's a small business, so I really have to keep that in mind. But right here, I got puny wicks, and surprisingly, despite the puny wicks, this candle was still performing. So in my medium-sized bedroom, it was about a, I would say it hovered between a 6 and a 7. So I think if I were to order from this company again, I would stick to their smaller format because their larger format is just, it's basically like the caramel sundaes container. And I feel like that one almost studded out immediately, but I could still smell it. And I felt like I had to keep soaking up wax. This one I did not. I just kind of burned through the pain or burned through the puny wicks. So I don't really care for the scent to repurchase, but I do like the format. But then again, also, I don't know about the price point. Oh, going on to another candle, small business, and the price point and the performance. So I finished up two from the brand Circa 1955, and they both gave me issues. So we have Oogie's Green Apple Lemonade, and we have one, I think from their main collection, Blueberry Lemon Crumble Cake. Okay, let's go on to the Oogie's Green Apple Lemonade. So this one performed a bit better, but I feel like the strength and throw was still a bit light in my medium-sized bedroom. I would say the strength was a 6.5 and the projection maybe was around a 7. So it did fill up my space, but it was kind of a fragrance that I would sometimes forget it was there and sometimes I wouldn't. But the main issue that I had is that this wax is pretty discolored. I didn't see any noticeable instances of sooting, but when I had this lit up, the liquefied wax looked like, you know, like when you overmix Jello and it has the little bubbles, this thing was bubbling and I'm like, ooh, that doesn't look cool. It almost looked a little bit frothy, and I think the soot in, I don't know if it's soot, I don't know if it's wax residue, but either way, this just was not a good time. I felt like I had to be on top of this candle. I still have two more, so hopefully it just affected these two candles and not the remaining two, but who knows, because they were all made in the same batch. And then you have the stereotypical 100% wax or soy wax look. So that's one thing about these candles. It's small business, small batches, and they use 100% soy wax. So there's that. Oh, and this one, I could barely smell this one, maybe up until right here. So from here to here, unscented. From here to here, maybe like a 4. So same issue. It was really frothy. This one was even dirtier than the other one. Again, no visible instances of sooting, but it was turning the wax pool really murky and discolored, and then there was that frothy liquefied wax look. But this scent and the Oogies green apple lemonade is delicious, so I wish it would perform. Thankfully it got, a little bit stronger towards the end, but towards the end this was a little bit of a hassle to use up, so I wouldn't recommend and repurchase these. I do have a single wick that I think I'm going to give to my mom because she burns single wicks every first of each month. So I'll see how that one performs, but I don't know. Given that I bought 2 and they both perform kind of not so good, I don't have high hopes. All right, lastly, for miscellaneous items, I finished up some gummy vitamins that I picked up either at TJ Maxx or Marshalls for $5.50. Yeah, 5.50. This is Hair, Skin, and Nails Beauty Builder. This was an 11 cent, so I feel like it did kind of make my lips pucker a little bit. This one you had to take 2 gummies. I prefer the ones where you only need to take 1. If I need to take more than 2, I feel like that's a little bit of a hassle unless I really enjoy the taste. Did I notice a difference? Not really, because I like to keep my nails very, very short, even more so now that I'm outside and I'm like touching the dirt, killing bugs on my citrus plants that I'm like a helicopter parent over. So that's all to say, my nails do feel a little bit thicker. I don't know if it's because of this one product, but yeah, I feel like if I saw this again on sale, I would repurchase it, but not if it was regular price. All right, next, I finished up some toothpaste samples that I got from my dentist. Love going to the dentist, hate having terrible news like you have a cavity or you need a root canal. And I'm getting to that age where I'm worried about my oral health. So anyways, 2 different brands, Parodontax and Sensodyne. My favorite toothpaste to use in the morning, because I like using a different toothpaste in the morning versus at night, is I really like the Sensodyne and Pro Enamel mix. I feel like that's not too frothy and it doesn't leave an overwhelming taste in my mouth that I feel like if I bite into a bagel, I'm tasting mint or the toothpaste and the flavor of the whatever food. Parodontax, I don't really care for the texture of it, or I feel like it becomes a little bit too foamy in my mouth, and I just don't really like toothpaste that are overly frothy or toothpaste that bubble. So I would probably purchase the bottom Sensodyne, but again, I like the Sensodyne by Pro Enamel. And then lastly, I finished up the last bit of my monthly contact lenses. I used to use Biofinity Toric, so I do have astigmatism, but I recently made the switch to, I think it's called Precision 7. They were kind of a lot more expensive just because they're weeklies, but one thing that I really like about them, at least what my optometrist said, is that it has a built-in filter when you're working on the computer, and it has a little bit of a filter when you go outside against the UV rays. Again, it doesn't take the place of having on sunglasses or a hat, but I feel like any bit helps. So yeah, those were all my empties for the month of July. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you have a great day. Okay, bye.